Fellas,
What's good,
what's
bro?
good? What's good, boys?
Man, what's goody, bro?
I'm cooling, bro. Cool. Just got back from the gym.
Hey, I see you, man. Your shoulders is up.
Shoulders up. I'm trying to get this thing right after getting hit, bro.
What you in there doing, man? What you in the gym doing, man?
What was the day? Leg day, arm day?
It was leg day, bro. You already know. We already here, bro.
Dang, bro. I gotta skip leg day, man. I go for a good little run.
Hey.
That's my leg day.
Hey, the bad part about it, Jay, I don't even work out. I skip leg day, arm day, every day. I skip every day. Man. I skip every day, man. Hey, I need to change my lifestyle, man.
Hey, bro, you know I got that 6-pack fuel popping, bro. Anytime you're ready, let me know.
Hey, man.
Yeah. Hey, hold on, bro. The 6-pack fuel is something different, bro.
Bro, it's something different, bro. You know, I got you on the family plan, so you know we good.
Oh, true indeed.
Yeah, man. Hey, tell us about that 6-pack fuel, man. Since you want to go ahead and mention that, let's go ahead and hear about that 6-pack fuel, bro.
So, man, like, I kind of tell you how I kind of got started. So probably about 2 years ago, it was right before I was getting ready to kind of get into bodybuilding or whatever the case may be, and I was like prepping my meals and prepping my food and stuff. And one of my guys at work, one of my coworkers was like, "Man, I see you bring your food all the time. It's already like measured." It's section. It's like you really put your time and effort into it.
Right.
He's like, yeah, have you ever thought about trying to make a profit off of it? I'm like, nah, bro. I prepare my own food. Like, I don't got time to be cooking for nobody else. He's like, how about this? He's like, I'm gonna pay you $250. I want you to go out and get it, whatever food you want for me, and cook it, prepare it, measure it, and then like every week I just pay you $250, and you just you make the meals in bulk. So grill my chicken, cook my salmon, the broccoli, whatever you need. You know what I'm saying? And I just give you the bread for it.
Yeah.
And we did that for probably about a solid month. And I just kept doing it. He kept promoting it. People start asking about it. And he was like, man, you need to come up with this meal prep business. And I'm like, man, it's so much to cook for everybody. I was doing for him every week.
Yeah.
Started off with a couple clients, 3 or 4 here, by word of mouth. And then finally was like, I'm going to go ahead and put an Instagram page together. And I was doing it for probably about 6 months, probably had about around 25 clients.
Wow. Were you charging them to do it?
Yeah, I was charging them to do it.
Yeah, at this point, 25.
Yeah, every week I would come out with a menu, and it was pretty much like $750 per meal, $725 per meal. I come out with a menu like, hey, I got grilled chicken,
and you can't beat that, bro.
Lean ground beef, ground turkey, whatever the case may be, and then I would give them the vegetable options, and I put the meals together, and I cook. I go get the meals on Friday. I go get the meals on Saturday. On Sunday, I would cook and I would deliver it myself, bro. So.
So you been a chef, bro, or this is something that you just picked up, bro?
Well, I mean, I always love to cook, man. Watching moms in the kitchen all the time, I always love to cook. Culinary art school was something I wanted to do, but
that healthy food really don't require too much season and all of that.
It don't really require that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Culinary art school is like more so like learning what temperature you should cook the meat, how to prepare it, how to plate it. You know what I mean? It's a little bit more etiquette type style for that. But I've always been into cooking, man, and it was something I was already doing for myself, and that transpired. But because it came so much, man, like I started looking into actually how I would do it. It's basically like in-home catering. Right. And it became so much, man, my clientele was just getting so crazy, bro. And like I was working full time, obviously. And so it was like taking up all of my Sundays preparing and delivering the food. I made a lot of bread with it. So with that bread, I just saved up and got my LLC, which didn't take much. Man, it don't cost much to get the LLC. And I had money. I still had money saved up to get my brand, do my logo. And right now, I've kind of transitioned. This is my second year in the business, and I've kind of transitioned out of that. So now I just write the meal plans. Like I'll tell people what day I need to eat, how much, what times, and I'll give it to them in a PDF file, and they'll go out either cook their own food, or right now I actually partner with this guy who actually makes the meal. So they buy the plan for me. I send they take the plan to the guy that cooks the food. He has his own little catering business. He cooks and prepares it for him. So it's kind of growing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, that's what's up, man.
That is what's up, man. I actually, like I said, I know a lot of people around me that has changed in doing that lifestyle as far as meal prepping and the time that they are taking to do that.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
it's crazy.
You gotta go there.
You definitely gotta be dedicated.
You gotta be dedicated, man. And the biggest thing, man, is like health is wealth, bro. You know what I mean? Like for so long, man. Y'all know y'all played sports, man. You were young, I was 8 in college. We going to the cab, we whatever, we didn't take it really serious. You know what I mean? I'm thinking like, now that I got into my 30s, like, bro, like you gotta start thinking about your health. What are you investing in? Like, I want to live long, bro. You know what I mean? So my family got a history of like heart problems and all that other type of stuff. And I'm saying, my father passed like 2 years ago from congestive heart failure. It's just, my cousin just died this past week. And he was 37 years old, had a massive heart attack.
Wow, man. Sorry to hear that,
so,
man.
I want to do everything necessary to stay healthy, teach my kids, teach my wife, and it's especially for Black folks, bro. Like we don't
exactly.
We the biggest recipients or carriers of type 2 diabetes, which is a lifestyle disease, bro. And that's a lifestyle disease, which can be cured through a lifestyle change, bro. We just gotta learn how to eat. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And like I said, we can't be eating all the time like pork, ham. We eating all kind of crazy stuff. Everything.
Well, and I tell my mom that all the time because she like. And my mom is just like, JR, I've been eating the same way for this long. I'm 60 years old. I've been eating this way. And I'm like, it's habits though, man. Like, you ever thought about it for something simple? You know what I mean? Like everybody, a lot of people kind of try to stay away from pork. We talk about how bad pork is, which there's some ins and outs with it. I'll enjoy a nice piece of bacon on a burger or something when I really want to have it. But outside that, I really don't eat it. But think about like Black folks, bro, we eat the whole pig. We used to eat the hog maw, the pig feet, the chitlins, like that was
all that
back in the day. That's what slavery, bro. Like that's just the scraps, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And traditionally, that's what we do. We eat the whole pig, whole head, cheese, all the scraps.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. It used to be good now,
bro.
I used to tear some chitlins up, bro.
It used to be good now.
Them chitlins got a hit though.
Yeah, hey, chitlins got a hit with the hot sauce on it.
With the hot sauce, a little bit of vinegar, bro. What?
Hey, look, so bro, let me ask you this too, bro. Well, first off, we gotta let everybody know.
Hey man, before we get anything,
everybody know, bro.
Yeah, we gotta let them know who we tapping in, who we talking
on the
to,
porch,
man. Who we rocking with tonight, man? What's up, bro? Let the people know, man.
Bro.
So, man, JR Sharp, man, born and raised in Chapel Hill. I'm 32 years old.
Come on, man.
And I'm a law enforcement officer. I'm married, beautiful wife, 2 beautiful little girls, a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. A believer of Christ, a father, a friend, a husband, a confidant, all that, bro. Strong Black man, successful entrepreneur. A little bit of everything, man. I call myself a jack of all trades, bro. You know what I mean? So
right. Real true American dream.
Yeah, for sure, bro. For sure. I'm just trying to get my piece of the American pie, bro. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, true indeed.
Yeah, bro. So look, man, this is what I wanted to ask you too before we got off the subject of the 6-pack fuel, man. What's an example of a good meal? You know what I'm saying? Starting in breakfast and your lunch and your dinner. What's an example of a good day's meal, bro?
So to start off, man, which is super key. I'm kind of glad you asked that. Most people, we start talking about breakfast and how breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And when I explain that to my clients, I'm trying to explain to them, look at the etymology of breakfast. What is breakfast? If you take those 2 words and you break them into 2, it's break fast. So you're breaking the fast. So it doesn't necessarily have to be pancakes, sausage, grits. Anything you eat in the first thing when you wake up is considered breakfast because you breaking that fast from sleeping. So something that it don't have to be anything. It's sometimes I get up in the morning, I'll have a cup of rice and some chicken in the morning for breakfast. But a good example of what breakfast would normally be for me on a normal day and what I kind of cater my clients to. It's easy for us to eat eggs. It's a good way to eat protein. It's a good breakfast food, traditional breakfast food. Yeah. So everybody normally wants to eat eggs in the morning, but the thing is how many eggs you eating? Are you really measuring? Are you really counting? Because 2 whole eggs, that's a lot of cholesterol. I mean, there's a lot of cholesterol in eggs. Yeah. There's some good cholesterol, some good fats in there, but it's also bad. So I would probably start off with an example meal for breakfast, man. Maybe 2 whole eggs, which I normally start off in the morning.
Or a scramble, or it don't matter.
So I do mine over easy. I mean, I kind of got used to it. It's man. Hold on before you get to the stage. Let me explain. Come on,
man. Listen, you like a runny.
He like to go catch. I like my eggs running.
You like to go catch.
The reason why I say that is, and that's the reason behind it, because I always just normally scramble my food. But once I went to nutritional guidance school, I kind of learned more so about the whole foods, and you got to understand the true nutrients in the foods. And when we cook our foods, there's some things that have to be cooked all the way. Chicken. Right. That fish, it has to be cooked always. Some of that stuff has to be cooked, but there's a lot of foods that we can eat in its rawest form. So there's a nutrients in the egg yolk. And if we cook it to an extreme where we scramble it hard, or whatever the case may be, we're cooking the nutrients out of it. Right. Same way with a steak. You know what I mean? I eat my steaks either rare or medium rare. I like a little blood in it. Because there's nutrients in that. Same thing with veggies. When you cooking your veggies, a lot of people that eat, don't cook your veggies all soggy, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to let them have a little crunch to them so you keep that natural nutrients. If not, heat is energy. You putting that heat to it, it's cooking all the nutrients out of it. So
right.
But to get back to breakfast, maybe 2 whole eggs. If you like them scrambled, eat them scrambled. You know what I mean? But I eat mine over easy, or if I might do like 6 egg whites if I feel like I don't want to do the cholesterol and the fat from the eggs. I might just do egg whites, and I'll put those.
So what about the boiled eggs?
The boiled eggs really good too. Boiled eggs is good. But like I said, you just got to be careful of the yolks. You don't want to make 6 boiled eggs. Try to eat 6 boiled eggs. You might want to just do 2. Kind of keep that good protein, keep that good fats, keep that cholesterol to a minimum, keep that fat to a minimum in the eggs. But maybe 2 boiled eggs in the morning, maybe a cup of oatmeal. And what I do is I try to add my fruit to the oatmeal, so that way you're not doing like the sugary oatmeal. Maybe you get some steel cut oats, some plain oats, you cook them, and maybe you put some fresh blueberries, some fresh strawberries, maybe a little bit of granola, maybe hit it with a nice little raw honey, which is a good simple carb. Something a little sweeten it up, you know what I mean? Something naturally sweetened, you know what I mean? Honey has some really good properties to it, so I try to use that for sweetness. You don't want to add a whole bunch of brown sugar and syrup and that stuff in there, but something like that, man. You know what I mean? And maybe you do 2 eggs, and you do some oatmeal. You don't necessarily. People say, "What about the meat?" Well, eggs are protein. You don't need to go out here and get no sausage and bacon or turkey bacon. Just the eggs has the protein in it. So just do your 2 boiled eggs, maybe a cup of oatmeal. I prefer coffee in the morning. I do about 8 ounces of coffee. A lot of people don't really like coffee, but coffee has really good properties. It's really good for your heart. It's probably one of the most researched food sources on the planet.
Straight, you black,
but I drink my black.
You
drink my black, bro.
Straight black.
No sugar either.
Straight black, bro. No sugar, no cream, no honey. Straight black.
No sugar, no sugar, no cream.
No sugar, no cream.
I like black coffee, but mine's got to have sugar. I like black coffee.
Well, it's if you have to add, if it needs to be sweet, maybe try to think about adding some natural sugars in it. Maybe you try honey instead of adding some sugar into it. Maybe you try something different. Okay. You want to be careful about the artificial sweeteners, because a lot of those artificial sweeteners are actually really bad for you, man. But I drink mine black, bro. That's like I said. You want your food and whatever you put in your body, you want to be as whole as possible, bro. You know what I mean? Everybody call it hot bean water. Caffeine? You said what now?
Caffeine.
Caffeine is good for you, man. It's actually good. It's actually good for your brain cells and things of that nature. It's actually a stimulant, so it's actually pretty good. But you got to do it in doses. I'm not drinking a whole pot of coffee. I'm not drinking 2 or 3 cups. I'm literally doing 8 ounces a day, and everything else I drink is water. So I'm doing my 8 ounces in the morning just to get those good properties. It's really good for your heart, really good for your brain. It's a natural energy source, and I just keep it whole, man. So that's what I do for breakfast, man. That's what I start off with, something simple, something like that.
That's good, man. So let me ask you this too. With the adjustment from eating everything, eating regular, to eating clean, and where it really focusing on your diet, like how long did that transition take you?
It took me actually a really long time to kind of get adjusted to it. In the bodybuilding world, when we're looking to go from being where you're not.
Yeah, you a bodybuilder too.
Yeah, bro, I bodybuild.
Oh, you see them guns? You see him shooting this gun right now? You see him shooting?
Yeah, so I actually only done one show. I'm kind of in the off-season phase right now. My last show was back in April of 2019, so I've kind of been in the off-season phase trying to add on some muscle, because I actually lost a lot of weight, man. I got down to about the lowest I got down for my show was 179. I ain't seen that weight since middle school. But I was about 4% body fat too, so it took me a while to kind of gain some muscle back, naturally, and try to do it the right way instead of, having a bad reversal diet and gaining a whole bunch of unnecessary weight and fat, man. So it's very strict, it's strategic, but we normally say about 12 weeks, you can really see the top premier, going from being fat and out of shape to being lean and cut. It takes about 12 weeks, depending on what your physique is. Yeah, about 12 weeks. So
is that every day, or is that every other day, or 3 days out the week?
So when I'm in season, or when I'm training the client, I work out when I'm in season. I'm working out probably about 6 days a week, and that's with me doing cardio, as well as working out. So I'm doing my cardio in the morning. I may be doing my cardio fasted, which I have no food on my stomach when I do it, which it speeds up that fat burning process. But I do about 6 days a week. Now for the average person, 3 days a week is pretty much average. It's normal. If you can go 3 days a week, that's pretty good. As long as you be consistent. I can't take a client who is going from not working out at all and tell them they got to go 6 days a week. So I might say, hey, look, man, start off with something reasonable. Set those goals that are something reasonable. If you know you can do 3 days a week, maybe one Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That way you get Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday off.
Right.
Maybe do those 3 days a week. Start off with something slow and then be like, you know what? I'm getting used to this. I've been doing it for about 3 weeks. Let me adjust. Let me add another day in. Maybe let me go on a Saturday or do it like a nice little, I call a maintenance day on Sunday. It's just been it's being consistent, man. It doesn't have to be boring. The food doesn't have to be tasteless. I cook my food and I enjoy it. I season it. And then what you want to do?
You always have that question, and you be like, man, can like healthy people have a whole lot of seasoning on their food? So
and what I do is I season it with more natural stuff like garlic. You season it with, you ain't gotta season with a whole. People have some different opinions about salt. We need salt, bro. Like our bodies need salt. You gotta have salt. Salt is a real important mineral that we have to have. But what type
we be
of salt
trying to avoid it because that's what they sticking in our head. Like, black people, they killing salt, killing us, man. Stay away from us.
You know what I mean?
Man, salt was good to us.
You gotta be careful, but salt helps season that food.
It wasn't salt. It wasn't salt.
So I use for salt. Like if I'm gonna salt my food instead of regularly using your normal iodized table salt, I use pink Himalayan.
Pink Himalayan, I heard of that now.
It has some really good properties to it. You know what I mean? So I'll use that to season my food. But everything else, man, I enjoy it. Maybe you get. I use a company called Flavor God. It's all natural ingredients. It's it has really no salt in it at all, unless you're getting specifically the pink Himalayan salt. So it's all natural. It's made in the house. They package it up. It's none of that processed crap. It's all natural stuff, and I enjoy it, man. Like it don't have to be boring. You know what I mean? It don't have to be. And then what I do is like for right now, I'll give myself maybe 1 or 2 days out of the week where I have a cheat meal. Yeah. And let me say before I go into a cheat meal.
I cheat now.
What's your cheat meal?
So a cheat meal technically is considered something that you wouldn't normally eat in your diet. You know what I mean? Like it's something that you normally wouldn't have. So when I'm really trying to go
to McDonald's and get a hamburger.
I will never go to McDonald's. I won't even go water at McDonald's, bro. Never, ever. That's the worst cheat to waste your cheat meal.
That's the worst cheat.
Yeah,
it's the worst way to do your cheat meal. Why would I've gone all week eating clean. I went 6 days eating clean. I know I'm gonna get one meal to enjoy. Why would I go to Bojangles and get a 4-piece Supreme when I can go to Bad Daddy's Burger and get me a double stack burger with avocado and bacon and cheese and some fries and enjoy that? You know what I mean? Like that's something that I
really
know.
Enjoy.
Hey, don't sell yourself short.
Don't sell yourself short and go to the dollar menu, man. When you get, you know what I'm saying? Go get the creme de la creme if you gonna
go cheat yourself. Go cheat yourself. Go Roof Chris it.
Yeah. Something. But I give myself like maybe 1 or 2 days during the week where I can enjoy something. I can go out to eat with my family. I can do something. I can enjoy it. And it also gives me an incentive to kind of, push toward the end of the week. You know what I mean? I know I get that cheat meal on Friday or Saturday. I know I'm gonna order me a pizza and get some wings and enjoy it. You know what I mean? So it's all about moderation by the end of the day. It's all about moderation.
Yeah, bro.
All about moderation.
And see, like that's one of the lessons that you have to learn about everything in life, bro. You have to do things in moderation, man. A whole lot of everything ain't good, bro.
And I'm glad you brought that point up, man. And that's the biggest thing about what I've learned about eating and why diet is so important, not only to your health, but to your mindset. You know what I mean? It changes how you do things. If I know that I can give up cake, I haven't had alcohol in 3 years. You know what I mean? I stopped. I said when I was going into my year 30, I said I'm done with alcohol. So I'm going in December 25th of this year will be 4 years. So I'm almost there, but I've been sober, man. Haven't had a drop of alcohol. I've been to the Cayman Islands. I've been to the DR. I've been to Florida, all these different places, and remain alcohol free. Because I think it really instills that discipline in you, man. It makes it easy. So when it's time for you to buckle down for that promotion,
and I'm pretty sure you had an amazing time.
Yeah,
without even drinking.
Yeah, you can still enjoy it, man. Like alcohol for so many people becomes a vice, man. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything wrong with alcohol, but so many people, they say it's a social activity. You know, most people say I'm just a social drinker, but it's a lot of people out there, bro, that's really getting drunk to get drunk. You know what I mean? Like, they get drunk to get drunk, or they. Well, here, think about it this way too, man. I don't know if you ever thought about this. Is most people say they're sociable drinkers, but what are they really drinking to do? They're drinking to because most people feel more comfortable. They open up. They may be shy. They may have some insecurities. And once they start drinking, they open up. So you're really treating something, you know, something a mental trigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
maybe it's some PTSD. Maybe it's a little bit of stress. Maybe it's a little bit of anxiety. Maybe it's your insecurities. You're drinking that to kind of hide those true feelings. So you're really self-medicating at the end of the day. You're not drinking just because it's a social thing to do. You're doing it because it opens up. It's fun. It makes you be more outgoing. And you're covering up those true feelings, bro. So, I mean, I know it's kind of deep, man, but
bro, that's for real. That's good.
But it's good, man. You know, it's
people need to hear that,
and like I said, but even alcohol, there's nothing wrong with alcohol as long as you're doing it in moderation. You know what I mean? Like how I started off doing it was I was coming home after shift, man, working a crazy shift, seeing something crazy, maybe seeing a dead kid in a car crash, and just having that mental for playing it over and over in my head, and you know, having some of that PTSD. And I come home after a long shift, and I'm like, I get off and out of here, like.
Well, see,
I need to get a bourbon.
And also, like you saying that, being in law enforcement, man, like I know you see a lot of different and crazy things out here.
Yeah. What you think the craziest thing you've seen?
Yeah.
Bro?
The craziest thing that I've seen, man. I think the craziest thing that I've seen it's so many, but I think one that comes to memory, man, that was really kind of scarred me for. It was one of my first suicide calls that I went to. It was a young African-American kid. He was 15 years old. I get to the house and, you know, I get the call. It came out as a welfare check, but he had hung himself. You don't normally see young African-American kids kill themselves, bro. It's just something that you traditionally don't see. We're starting to see it more and more.
We're starting to see it more and more each and every day.
Because of bullying, because of social media. And that hurt me, man. You know, one of the biggest things that kind of changed my life and changed my perspective is how I do my job. Is the father was coming from Chapel Hill, so it took him a while to get there. But when he burst through the doors, I couldn't let him go back to see his kid in that condition. I didn't want him to, because it's technically a crime scene,
right?
And you know, but to see the pain on his face, to really feel his pain, like the dude was like, he was like 6'5", probably like 280 pounds, huge. Damn. And I'm trying to hold this man up. He's crying in my arms, and I'm embracing him, man. I felt that pain, bro. Like, and there's nothing I can do in that moment to bring his son back. So you really sit there and kind of, you know, you inherit some of that pain that they go through, bro. And that was tough. You know, going through his cell phone.
How do you deal with that, bro? Like, especially early on before it really becomes normalized. Like,
and just imagine the younger cops that's out here. You know what I'm saying? The younger people that's out here in this. This playing field.
It's a huge stigma in law enforcement, man, because we see so much trauma. There's things that I see, brother. I hope you two never have to see, bro. Like that's stuff that I go through on a daily, that there's so much that the public is shielded from because you never have to deal with it. You don't have to go to those shootings. You don't have to go to those natural deaths. You don't have to go to those bad car accidents. You don't have to go to where, you know, a 16-year-old girl's been raped by her uncle. You don't ever have to experience that. It's like you maybe see it in the movies, but you never have to see that pain and that emotion. And the thing is, as law enforcement, if you think about it, we're always dealing with people at their lowest. They just had a car wreck. They just had somebody break into their home. They just been assaulted. Whatever the case may be, you're always dealing with them. So you're naturally always around trauma, and what happens is, you really become callous to it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's a survival technique. Like, I know that I can't get emotional on every call because I got to muster up. I got to take that call and I got to go on to the next call. So I can't be so emotionally attached to every call to where it's really weighing on me heavy. And it's affecting my job. So a lot of times we kind of harden ourselves to it. And that's why you will see a lot of officers, they may laugh, they may make a joke. It's not because they're trying to be cruel, but it's just that, you know, they're trying to do everything. They say sometimes you gotta laugh before you cry, bro. You know what I mean? So how I do it, man, is I have a couple friends that I trust. I call them battle buddies. And we just talk about things, bro. You know, it's because they understand it. Maybe my wife doesn't understand about it. Maybe I don't want to unload that burden on her and tell her what I see and what I go through. Because I want to protect her from that. You know what I mean? I want to protect my kids from that. But maybe I go to another officer who understands, who's been there with me. Maybe they were with me on that call and we can kind of share our feelings. Like, man, it's been a lot of times where, you know, we saw this call, and this is another one that kind of scarred me for a while. We get to this house, and the father has 2 girls. One was a little older and the other one was like 3 years old, but a 3-year-old had wandered off. So we spent time looking for her, and we're trying to figure out where she went. You know, we trying to track her, trying to call her name. Well, we end up kind of tracking down through the woods, and we go down to a lake. And as soon as we get down to the lake, we're going through the woods, we starting to see a trail of clothes. So I'm like, where, like, you start to see a shirt off. You start to see, you know, the socks off, the pants off. You start to see a little diaper, and then you keep on going further.
Oh, wow.
And then we see the 3-year-old that's, you know, face down the lake. And the father was really really emotionless, man. Like, he didn't have any emotions. So it was like, how can you see and maybe he was in shock, or maybe he was a suspect, maybe he killed his kid. You know what I mean? Those are the things that we're thinking about in my head. Right. But, you know, and to see those officers, everybody trying to go hands on, they're diving into the water to grab their kid, and they don't care about their equipment getting wet. They don't care about their radios getting wet. They're just trying to save the little girl, man. They trying to perform CPR, and, you know, she didn't make it, man. And to see some of those officers on scene, man, it was guys that were crying. It was officers that were crying real tears, bro. You know what I mean? Like, because it's something that you don't want to see that, bro. You know what I mean? I got a 3-year-old girl. I would be devastated if something happened to my baby girl, man, because they're so innocent. You know what I mean? So you just got to talk about those true feelings and get it out on the table, man. And that's important. Which is it kind of leading into my next thing that I kind of really want to bring to y'all is that's kind of what I started this whole mantra of hard to kill. And that kind of happened after my incident when I got shot back in November.
Hold on. We rapping. Hey, we just let you know we rap.
You already know, bro.
We already see. We all up in the camera with it.
I see it, bro. I respect that, bro. That's love, man. I really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate that. It's just, I really want to highlight some things about, you know, PTSD and trauma, because we all go through it. You don't have to be a World War veteran. You don't have to be a cop. You don't have to be a firefighter to experience that trauma. You guys have experienced trauma in your life. We've all experienced it, you know.
Right here in your same neighborhood, in your own
exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe you saw one of your homeboys, you know, get killed at a young age and you dealt with, you still dealing with that trauma. You know, that stuff, that stuff happens, man. Maybe you've lost a loved one in a car wreck, you know. There's a ton of trauma that you go through, man. And, you know, I think it's important for us. There's such a negative stigma on trauma and mental health. And people think that because you go talk to a psychiatrist or a counselor that you're crazy. You know, so what happens is most people, not just cops, but most people like me and you, especially Black people, right? We don't want to talk about that trauma. We don't want to go and talk to a psychiatrist.
You can't tell nobody about that.
You want to tell nobody?
What?
You don't want to tell nobody.
That shit, hey, it hurt. It's too deep.
You can't shut no feelings, man. What?
It's too deep.
It's too deep. You know what I mean? Because think about it.
Yeah, and me sharing that, I'm only giving you fuel to talk about me or the judge me.
That's good.
That's our first mindset that we go to.
That's good. That's good. And it's something that we, especially, you know, as Black men, it's something that we go through because think about all the times when you were young, how your uncles and your big cousins and your father was like, boy, you better stop all that crying.
Yeah.
You better man up. Stop that crying.
Now you got mamas. Now you got mothers telling their sons that.
Exactly. Yeah. So now we grow up and that becomes a stigma that we attach to. Like, I can't cry. I can't show any weakness. You know what I mean? I gotta be strong. I can't be crying. And we don't learn how to, when really we should be naturally processing those emotions and really being able to talk about it. And that's something I even started with my kids, man. Like, and like I said, they're 5 and 3, so they're still young. But when my youngest girl was crying, when she's crying, I'm like, look, baby, it's okay to cry. And it's okay to be upset, but you got to tell me why you're upset. Right. Don't just be crying to be crying because
that's the main thing between crying
just cry to cry
and whining. And that whining is a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Whining a whole nother story, bro. But like,
so being able to talk about those emotions and be able to feel comfortable, like, look, I'm, you know, and understanding, like, and the biggest thing is it's okay to have a bad day, bro. Like, it's okay, bro. Like, it's okay to not be okay if you're not okay. You see what I'm saying?
That's fact. It's okay.
We gotta start doing that. One is Black men, we gotta do it because we gotta be strong for our family, but we gotta also, you know, we gotta be healthy. You know, we can't help nobody else if we ain't even helping ourselves, bro. So we gotta be healthy inside, bro. Like that. Like that's super key. And it's something I'm really passionate about, man. So thank y'all for rocking the bands.
Yeah, for sure.
You see, I got the shirt, man. It's more so than just being hard to kill physically. It's being hard to kill, you know, spiritually, emotionally, being strong, hard to kill. You know, if you're married, making your marriage strong, being, you know, spiritually strong, being emotionally strong, It's more than just going out here and lifting a bunch of weights and shooting guns and running fast, bro. It's about it's about that whole being. You see what I'm saying?
We need more bands. We need more bands.
Yeah. Hey, bro, I got plenty, bro. I got the address. I'll send them your way. I'll pack them.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Hey, go ahead and drop them. And also let the people know where they can tap in to get the actual bands or the merch.
So if you want to get a band, I have a cash app. I got Venmo. I got PayPal. My cash app is my business name is Six Pack Fuel. It's the actual, obviously the number sign, Six Pack Fuel, capital S, capital P, and then capital F. And cash app. If you want to do Venmo, my Venmo is at 6-pack-fuel1. And if you have PayPal, some people have PayPal. It's Anthony Sharp 41@gmail. So the same email I sent you guys.
Okay.
That's the way you send a small donation. There's actually no charge to the band. A lot of people name like, what's the charge in the band? How much the bands cost? I said, bro, it's a donation of your choice, bro. It's donation based. So if you give me $1, it's been some people that give $1, and I'm appreciative of $1. You do what you can. There's some people that gave $200.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what it's about what's on your heart. It's about the mission. It's about you being hard to kill. It's not about my cause. It's about you looking down that band and you saying that
your reason of why you being hard to kill.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Bro.
Like you saying, bro, everybody gonna have their own reason.
Yeah, because I definitely wear my band every day, and I got my reason of why I'm hard to kill.
Yeah, exactly, bro. And like I said, you ain't got it ain't about, and that's what I really want people to understand about this. It's not about being John Wick. You know what I mean? It's about being hard to kill. Don't let nobody steal your happiness, your joy. What are you doing to make yourself the best person?
Hard to kill, right?
That's hard to kill now. Boy.
That's the definition of hard to kill right there.
Hey, that's real, bro. That's real, bro. Hey, so look, let me take it back for you a little bit too, bro. Like,
okay.
Even for you getting into law enforcement, how did you land on making that decision
of doing it
into law enforcement?
Especially being, like I said, African American, black male.
Well, so I knew but when I was in high school, I knew this is what I want to do. And how that came about is there was a SRO at our school, a school resource officer, very prestigious, African American cop. Very sorry, y'all still got
you good. Yeah, we good.
All right. So very prestigious African American cop. His name was Rex Gibson. And he was such a tremendous part in my, he was kind of like a second father figure to me. And to see a black man of his figure, he was naturally built in shape. He was on a SWAT team. But to see how he talked with people, he interacted with so many people. So many people, he made such an impact on people of all colors, even young African American males, white, Asian. And he really inspired me, man. So going into when I obviously got the scholarship to Central, I was like, I know I want to be in law enforcement. It's something I want to do. I knew that it was a plus going to North Carolina Central as an amazing law program. So I knew it was a bonus for me going there. So I kind of knew what I wanted to do going into it. You know what I mean? Like we always talk about, everybody knows how law enforcement started. We know it started off as slave patrol. We know it started off, from the civil rights movements, how they were treating black people, what they were doing, and we didn't have any representation, bro. There was no representation of us being pillars in our community. The closest that we saw from people trying that looked like us trying to protect our community was the Black Panthers. And they called them a terrorist group and they killed them. Right. But we know what they were trying to do for the community. So we didn't have any representation. So I figured out, like what better way to serve my people than to being a pillar of the community, to have somebody that can rely on, being a familiar face. Because I believe, and I wholeheartedly believe, one day I'm gonna be a chief of police or a sheriff or somewhere of high ranking. And I want my department to look like the community that it serves. We don't need to have a whole bunch of white cops serving the black community, just like we need to have a whole bunch of black cops serving the white community. Like our community should look how our department should look how our communities are. If our community is mixed, it needs to be mixed. We have to have equal representation. And it's very comfortable for a lot of people, especially a lot of black people, that when I come on scene, to have a familiar face, somebody they can relate to, somebody that looks like them, somebody they can emotionally, genetically connect with because we look alike, we share the same melody. You know what I mean? So that's what inspired me to get into it, man. And it's just, we hear so much nowadays. Y'all know how it is. You know how the vibe and the culture is around police, and we see all the shootings and we see all the, the back and forth between law enforcement. But now we have representation. We have a black sheriff. Our chief is black. Our major's black. We have people in high rank. I'm a corporal, which is and I just applied for sergeant. So people of art that look like us are now becoming in these leadership roles to make an impact, to really talk to some of these officers who don't understand Black culture. And like, look, I can go to this white male who grew up in a white town, grew up in a white family, lives that white cultural bubble, and now I'm his supervisor. And now I'm telling him and I'm teaching him and I'm molding him and understanding cultural differences, how to understand it. So it's super deep, bro. But that's really why I got started and why I want to continue. Man. Like,
and see, that was gonna be, that was gonna be one of my questions too, bro. Like, as you are seeing through the ranks as an officer or as in the sheriff department, like, what are those resources? What are those things that high-ranking members of our community have to deal with or can translate to the white community? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And get them to understand the plight that we have.
Well, the biggest thing, man, when you start talking about, we can go through all this training. We go through like cultural difference, implicit. We go through this training every year. It's something that we've been doing, especially ever since 2015. We saw what happened in St. Louis. We saw what happened with Freddie Gray in Baltimore. So it's more of these incidents coming out. Eric Garner, Philando Castile, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. The more of these things come out,
Trayvon Martin, all of them.
Yeah, Trayvon. Trayvon Martin. All these things that we see, it's very traumatic for people of color, but we have to understand it. And I see it. Maybe people that are not law enforcement don't see it, but I see these situations that these people are really very intense, traumatic situations are really changing the face of law enforcement. It's changed within 10 years of me doing the job. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more training that goes into it. There's a lot more implicit bias training, cultural diversity. There's a lot of training that goes into it. They actually just sent me to a school. I went to Wilmington for 2 days to be an instructor in implicit bias training. So I went, this company comes in, it's actually law enforcement officers that are retired. They're also like psychiatrists that they have there, psychologists and people who understand like community and cultural differences. They come in, they teach us, and we become instructors so we can go back to our agencies and we can teach our chief of police. We can teach, the sergeant lieutenants. We can teach the young officers how that those implicit biases, which an implicit bias would be something that you just don't recognize. You're being biased and you just don't know it. You know what I mean? You may see that Black male with a hoodie on walking down the street and you think that because he's in a neighborhood that he doesn't belong there. That's an implicit bias. You know what I mean? That's a bias that we don't, that guy may be a doctor just walking and jogging in his neighborhood.
Might be minding his own business.
And he might be minding his own business. You know what I mean? He might not be a threat. People, and that's the biggest thing that happened with, Trayvon Martin, which I don't even want to say the guy's name who killed him, but sometimes you gotta mind your business. You know what I mean? And I don't think that kid was doing anything wrong. And I think that if that individual who antagonized that situation would have just left him alone, that kid would still be here today. So those are those implicit biases that sometimes, and there's a lot of biases that are really intentional biases that people are just racist.
Even after all the training that they are receiving or are getting, and they still go out there with their own intentions, even knowing that makes them even want to and be intrigued to even do whatever they're doing even more.
And that stuff is taught. You know what I mean? Like that stuff is taught, bro. Like how can you have a kid? Like when I take my kids to school, my little mixed mulatto babies to school, and they're in there, and one of my daughters, her best friend is white. They don't know anything. They just know the love that they share. They're not thinking about skin color. They don't understand that.
Yeah, it's taught. Hatred is taught,
bro.
Hatred is taught, bro.
It's something that, and it's very important. I want to add this. It's something that's taught throughout different cultures. You know what I mean? Think about how we were raised. We were taught, hey, you better stay away from them white folks. Leave them white girls alone. Hey, you know what I mean? Don't trust them cops.
Don't say nothing to them.
We teach our own kids that. You know what I mean? We teach, and it's from slavery and the civil rights movement.
Isn't it got to a point where we saying that about our own? Hell, stay away from them niggas over there now.
Exactly. You know what I mean? You know what side of town you're supposed to be on, or you're not supposed to be on.
Don't go over there and mess with them niggas over there now.
You know what I mean? And it might be, we always think about that. I hate to say it, but we always think about that situation where, you walking down the street and you might see a group of young bros with hoodies on and pants sagging. You might be like, shh, let me go ahead and get across the street. You know what I mean? Like, you might be doing that to yourself too.
Let me take my chain, goddamn. Let me go ahead before we walk here.
No problem.
You see what I'm saying? You know the people but you know what? Those could be a group of athletes. It could be a group of kids that are just
They're just chilling. They just got finished playing a video game. They outside chilling. Yeah, they outside chilling. They know I just want to come outside and smoke a blunt and just mind their business. They
exactly, bro. So we have those own biases within ourselves, bro, within our own cultures, bro. That we just like, you know them that shit. I ain't trying to rock them niggas crazy, bro. Like, let me go ahead and, you know what I'm saying? We do it to ourselves, man. That's a lot of that is, you know, that stems from a lot of self-hate, which is, I don't like to use the terminology or the word phrase black on black crime, because people, you know, white people kill white people, Asians kill Asians. People are naturally
ain't no white on white crime, ain't no Asian on Asian crime, ain't no
ain't no black on black crime. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, we naturally don't kill ourselves. Like, we don't kill our own, bro. Like that's the circle of life. You know what I mean? Like, we naturally kill our own. We around more black people. We're gonna be in more disputes with more black people.
Right. You're not gonna beef with nobody that you don't know. You know what I'm saying?
You're not gonna beef with nobody you don't know.
You're not gonna have no arguments.
I ain't arguing with no motherfucker I don't know.
That's not gonna happen 9 times out of 10. But yeah, bro, let me ask you this too, bro. Like, with you being up there in Durham in the force, have you recognized like racism in the force? Have you had to deal with that internally?
Yeah.
So I feel like I have. And it's really like, it's not really open to where like, it's really discreet. Like, a lot of these cats aren't really bold enough to really come out and really do it in front of your face. They might do it in small groups.
Right.
They may say things that, you know, come off. You might see it kind of how they talk to a certain group of people versus talking to a lot of other different people. Like, you might have an officer who goes, and that's something I pick up on as a supervisor or as a training officer, because I train young officers. And I'm like, so why is it when we go to the lower poverty side of town, lower economic side of town, you want to be aggressive? Yeah, and when we go over to the wine and cheese district, you know what I mean, with the multi-million-dollar homes, it's yes sir, no sir. You have all this patience.
You extra nice.
Like, where does that stem from? You know what I mean? Is it because you're racist? Is it a kind of like, is it a fear you have and you feel like you have to be aggressive to show that you're dominant because you really have a fear of people who don't look like you?
Right. So I gotta show my dominance because I'm not comfortable here. I'm not comfortable here. I'm comfortable over here because I don't see anything happening. Exactly. I don't see anything popping off. But as soon as I get over here, I'm uncomfortable. Something might happen.
Yeah,
exactly.
I gotta be alert.
And see, that goes back to the part that you were saying, like, the community needs to look like the officers that serve the community. You know what I'm saying?
Don't come over here. If you feel uncomfortable, don't come over here.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, it's been times where, like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, when I was a young rookie officer, I would go up to the northern side of the county, and you go up to the northern side of the county, and Confederate flags fly, and them cats crazy. And they're like, I didn't even know they had color deputies. I'm like, color? Like, we still use the word color in like 2020 now. Like,
yeah, but that's the crazy part about it. But like that's I would say it's a double standard kind of like, it's like, damn, if I feel comfortable coming over this way, don't harass or belittle me or look down or try to do anything with me because I feel comfortable coming over here.
Right.
You just might not be comfortable with me coming over here. That's it.
Exactly. And that's super key. And I'm glad you brought that point about the community, because, you know, the community looking like the people that the departments and these law enforcement entities looking like the community which they serve.
Right.
Which is another key that, speaking to the Black people, if you have an officer who does look like you, who's trying to be a pillar in the community, you have to be accepting of that role that they walked into. Because a lot of times I go to, you know, I might go to the white neighborhood and I may get treated with respect, but I might go to the Black neighborhood and they be like, they might call me Uncle Tom, I'm a cracker.
All that, any of that.
I'm a sellout.
That's crazy.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm trying to be
sell out
to you, all and that. You don't respect me. You know what I mean? Is it because you don't respect the uniform? You don't, or is it, you know, what is it? Why don't you respect the fact that I'm trying to be in a position to be an asset to you, to be a resource to you, to, you know, to understand. Right. Specific, let me talk to this. And I don't ever tell anybody, you know, the things that I do in the community, because I don't believe, you know, the word says that you never tell the left hand what the right hand is doing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't believe in, because I want God to get the glory. I want God to receive the glory all that I do, because I want to serve him. But I got two young white officers on my squad. They were in a lower impoverished side of town, rightfully to be there. One of the cars kind of had a fictitious tag on it, so they weren't like profile or anything. But it was two young white officers, and then ended up being two African American guys that were in the car. Now they over there. I go in and check on with them, and of course I'm the first line supervisor. So I get up. I'm like, "What y'all got?" They're like, "We think we got drugs." They had like a little white powder. It was like a little white powder in the bag, and one of the kids was like, "Man, that ain't no dope. That ain't no dope." And I went over, and because I worked in narcotics as a detective, I looked at the dope, and it was literally the guy. It was literally like corn starch, and like potato starch, and like corn sugar or something like that.
Yeah.
It was really nothing, but they were smoking weed, which I don't really. That's like minimal to me. I mean, weed is like legal everywhere else. I don't really care about weed. I mean, it is what it is. Like it's a natural medicinal herb.
Bro. Like you ain't trying to move no pounds. And you ain't got
you know what I mean? Like I ain't worried about that. You smoking a little personal. You smoking a little personal herb.
Yeah.
Yeah, you smoking a little joint for personal use. Bro, I ain't worried about that.
I got a medical condition. That's why I'm
cataract. You got cataract.
I got a cataract in this eye.
Right. You know what I mean?
And a Cadillac outside.
It's discretion. You know what I mean? Like it's something that I just care about. I care about other things. You know what I mean? Like marijuana is the least of my worries. And I'm telling them, like, look, I'm telling young brothers, I'm like, look, y'all, like, I get it, bro. I was young one time. Maybe I indulge. I understand it. But y'all riding around and you smell, and I'm sorry, bro, but the weed is out here nowadays, bro. It ain't like
it's loud. I'm talking about you can smell it a mile away.
Bro, it's loud. It's loud. It's the loud pack, bro. Loud. Like, and you gotta understand, there's a thing called olfactory fatigue. That if you're around and you smell some all the time, you ain't gonna smell it. So you might have, you know what I'm saying? You might have a loud pack in your pocket, thinking that you don't smell it because you naturally smell all the time. But you come across me and I don't smoke,
they smell it. Like, man.
I'm like, yo, man, let me holler at you for a second.
Well, turn that down.
Get got in mind.
Turn that down.
So what I try to do is, I try to take a different approach, and I try to understand, because you never know what people. It is a medicinal herb, and some people may be smoking it to kind of calm the stress, to calm their nerves. But I'm like, y'all gotta move different. You know what I mean? Don't ride around with a loud pack in your car smelling like this. Now when the officer stops you, he gonna automatically search you. You know what I mean? Don't ride around with blunt guts all in your car, and you know, cigarillo packets all over the place. Like, don't ride dirty.
That's
you know
just,
what I'm saying?
that's just giving game. Like, don't do it.
I didn't know the cigarillo.
Yeah. Don't do none of that. Yeah.
Don't do none of that. Don't put the air fresheners hanging in the car mirror. Don't do none of that, bro. Don't put the little, you know what I'm saying, the little Christmas tree joints. Don't put them in the mirror. Don't do none of that, bro. Like, just move different. You're gonna smoke a little something, do something that you're gonna do, secluded on your own time, you know, in your own home where nobody gonna bother you. Don't go out there and bring your personal business and what you do at home to the rest of the world. You blowing the joint in the car, like, that's just idiotic, bro. You're gonna get searched. You're gonna get stopped. You know what I mean? It's just every time. You know what I mean? And we got to understand that, man. What people don't understand is the odor of marijuana is probable cause for a search, meaning that an officer can search anywhere in your vehicle that marijuana may be, anywhere on your body that marijuana may be, especially if he finds a blunt or a roach in your vehicle. I can stop a car and it could be, you know, it could be not a lot of this bud out here nowadays don't really got no season unless it's some trash.
Right.
But I might see a little shake on the floor, and that little amount of shake is enough for me to break you down, search your whole car, your whole trunk, and everywhere. Where
I done been in the same situation where that's gonna happen. Like I done been pulled over and I was at a young age and I had a roach in the car.
You had a real roach, like a bug.
I ain't no dirty nigga, man. Let me tell you that. You'll never see a roach on me, in my car, or in my crib.
Right.
All right. I'm just a fresh, clean nigga. You feel me?
I feel that.
No roach. Maybe back in the day now.
You had the roach in the car.
I mean, we was just the way we had to grow up, come up. It was back. We had roaches a little bit. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But
how did that situation end, bro?
Man, like I said, I got locked up, bro. I got locked up behind it. I got locked up behind a roach.
Yeah, all white cops. Actually, bro,
it was two white cops, and they locked me up behind having a roach.
Now let me ask you this though. You know, I gotta ask it. I want you to be honest with me. How was your attitude towards
my attitude? Was real rude. It was real rude. It was real rude. Let me ask you, real rude. But why? But at the end of the day, why does that determine whether you I don't feel like that should determine whether you take me or actually. Yeah, I done seen white folks act rude and talk to the cops nasty and still say, "All right, sir, you're right. I shouldn't have bothered you. I'm gonna let you go."
You're right, and I believe in not allowing. And I've been an officer before when I was a young rookie cop, and I'm like, I pull a guy over. He like, man, you stopped me because I'm black. I'm like, hold on, bro. Like, I ain't stopped you because I'm black too.
I ain't never played that. I ain't never played that card, but my whole theory has been within that. It's like, don't try to pull your authority over me. Like, don't try to say you rudely. Whatever you say goes. Like, I'm asking questions. I'm allowed to ask questions, and then when I don't get the answer that I feel like is acceptable, then I'm gonna get. They automatically go to the attitude. They automatically label a black person with an attitude. And when they don't comply to the things that they say, it automatically goes. They automatically in their head, for some odd reason, they just they're not complying. They have an attitude,
right? And they really don't. They really don't want to lose out. They don't want to lose out that authority that they have. But you gotta understand that.
That's what it is.
How you get that authority? It comes from respect, and respect is earned. It's not given. You know what I mean? Like
they don't come up with the respect.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying?
They're not coming up with you because they automatically expecting you to respect them before you.
Exactly. And see, the thing is, and you made a great point.
Is
that if you're allowing an attitude to affect the way that you do your job or how you handle that call,
right?
Then it's getting to you. You're taking it personal.
You're taking it personal. You're taking it personal.
You're taking it personal. So what I started to do and what I started to train a lot of these young officers who are coming into the game, I'm like, make it up in your head what you're going to do before you go up there. If you know, hey, I'm stopping this next car stop. If it's 15 miles per hour over, I'm going to write a ticket. No matter who it is. I don't care if it's grandma. I don't care who it is. I'm going to write a ticket.
Any of that.
And have that preset of what you're going to do. Now, sometimes, granted, I don't want to be that guy that writes grandma a ticket. You know what I mean? But just hear me out what I'm saying.
But damn it, grandma shouldn't been out here doing 15 over the speed limit. She know the law. She knows the law.
She might be super sweet.
She might be here longer than I do.
Absolutely. You've been here longer than I have. You should know, lady. You've been living for 60 years. You understand that the speed limit, you live right around the corner. You understand the speed limit is this. Have that determination in your head before you go up to the car. That way you don't allow it. If I decide, sometimes I will stop a car and I'm like, I'm going to give this person a break. I'm going to give this person a warning before I see who the person is.
Right.
I get up there and I'm like, look, bro, I might stop the car because the car, let's say the tags are expired.
Yeah.
And for face value, some officers being young, they want to look at that specific violation. All right, the tags are expired. But I like to go deeper because I'm a servant. I'm a public servant. You know what? Why are your tags expired? Are they expired because you didn't know? Are they expired because you don't have the money to go get your car inspected?
Right.
What's the deeper issue? Now, when I get to the car, I'm like, look, and that's why I ask people, I'm like, tags being expired, and I try to say about 6 months. Let's say your tags out 6 months. I'm gonna stop you. I'm like, yo, what's going on with your tags? What, I'm like, and I ask them, I'll be honest. And I think there's a black female that I stopped probably 3 weeks ago. And she was upset because I asked her, I said, ma'am, I got her out of the car because she was with her kids and I didn't want to embarrass her. I brought her back to my car and I said, I don't mean to disrespect you, but what's your financial situation? And she's like, what you mean? Like, she kind of got a little bit upset. And I said, I'm not trying to disrespect you, but you have a tax. You haven't paid your property tax. It's $356. She's like, you know what? Like, I'm trying to wait the tax time come around. Like, I don't got the money. I got the money, but I don't want to spend it on debt right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I got the money to do it, but like, I got more important stuff. I got to feed these kids. I'm like, ma'am, I 100%.
That's all I was asking. That's all I was wanting.
And that's all I want. I want the truth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I understand that you're a hardworking woman. You got 3 kids in the car, and you're trying to make ends meet. You're trying to do what you need to do. And you're driving this car because you got to pick your kids up. You got to take them to school. Right. You got to go to the grocery store. You got to go to work. Right. I understand that. However, be careful about doing this because you may run into another officer who's not like me. And is going to write you a ticket based upon just the violation alone and not understanding the true root to the cause.
And at that point, like I said, she had to understand, like, all right, I got to make that sacrifice on this end. So I don't have to deal with it on any other end. Like, if you're going to make sacrifices, you making sacrifices to feed or do whatever it is you're doing, Make that sacrifice so you can continue to do whatever it is that you do.
And the other thing too, that ain't gonna and the other thing too is it gave me an opportunity to tell her about a process, because a lot of times some people can't afford stuff, bro. Yeah. But you're able to go to the DMV and you're able to get temporary holds on that payment so you can make it. Like the DMV does that, but
oh dang!
People don't know.
I didn't even know that.
People don't know that.
People don't know that. So that gives me an opportunity.
This shit always been good. This shit always been good. He ain't never had the experience of real black problem issues. You know what I'm saying?
But no, exactly. It might be people out there in the community that don't know that.
Definitely, they don't know it. That they can maybe they can file for a temporary waiver. You know what I mean? Because hey, I'm in a financial burden. It's the pandemic. It's COVID-19. People are understandable. You know what I mean? Like, look, I'm out of work right now. I can't afford to pay this. Can I get a temporary tab because I'm out here looking for a job? DMV will do that. But as an officer, I think that's more important for me. That's better correction.
To share that information.
If I write her a ticket, bro, if I write her a ticket, she can't pay that ticket.
Right, you already know that too. Yeah,
she can't pay that. Why you putting her more in debt than when she even
just making her go tell the judge?
That's it.
Yeah, bro.
That's exactly.
Wasting time, wasting more. Yeah.
Going back to what you said about
you recruited more like you, man.
Going back to what you said about being a servant to the community, bro. Like,
have you recruited more servants like you?
Yeah, bro? For one, how do you recruit more to your liking, bro? Like, how do you recruit more like you to be a servant to the community? And two, like, is there a way to convert
you can't
into
teach
a servant of community?
It doesn't matter what you do. You can't teach real and you can't teach genuine. You can't teach that. You have to come with that automatically. But the more of us that, you know what I'm saying, that you are able to reach, and you know what I'm saying, they are able to see another brother in this position. That's like it. Oh yeah, I want to be like, man, I want to be more like him.
Just like you seen,
I want to be more
Officer Rex.
I want to be
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, it's I think what you do to recruit people, man, is like, one, you got to have a very reliable and a very tactful way that you recruit officers, a very, a hiring process, which is right now, to be honest with y'all, man, it's hard to find good cops because not a lot of people want to do this work, bro. Like, it's a scary job. One is scared to go out here. You might get shot, you might get killed, but on top of that, you might get sued, you might get fired, you might get put in the media.
Yeah.
And you all trying to do your job. Now, and I will add this, I have seen a lot of situations where I don't agree with the way the officers handle people, but there have been situations where I've seen the way officers handle people, and I'm like, man, I would have done the same thing. That's by the book. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, I know it's a very touchy subject.
At the end of the day, what I want our people to realize is, man, like, cops, this is a job that they are signing up to do. Like, you're not recruited, you're not called to do this, you're not. You know what I'm saying? You are signing up. So having the fear of a job should never be the case. If you done signed up to do this, it never should be a case of fear coming back home to your family.
Now, I disagree.
With the training and the actual experience that you do have, I don't see where's the fear?
I disagree, and I'll tell you why. Because I believe that fear, if you're able to control it, then it's very good for your survival. Healthy fear is good. It's okay to be fearful and have that gut feeling that something may go wrong, because it's preparing yourself for that moment when something does go wrong. Now now it's different when you're going to work scared every day. That's different. But fear is a natural emotion that we all experience. We all experience fear.
But at the end of the day, we should. In the Bible, it says we shouldn't fear anything, though.
We shouldn't fear, but you know what? We're humans and we're sinners,
right?
So we're not perfect. So we're always, and if we dig into the word, we're always aspiring to know and be more like God. So we're not perfect. So we're gonna drop back, and we are gonna be fearful because we're gonna rely on what? Our flesh.
Flesh. You're right. That is true.
You see what I'm saying? But I wholeheartedly agree. If you're coming into this line of work and you're scared all the time, you're scared to go to work, and that's unhealthy fear.
It's unhealthy.
That's not healthy for you, bro. That's going to affect your job. But you should have a very healthy dose of fear that you understand. There's things that I know when I go to work, that my job is to go to work and it's to come home.
And that's not even police officers. That's any job. Like,
that's good.
Anybody from the towers in New York, like they were just going to work. They had no fear. They had no fear of going, but hey,
you drive a forklift, your foot get cut
off. A forklift driver, they foot can get cut off, ran over, or anything.
Well, and to piggyback off of what you said, I think there's different levels of fear. If I'm going to work an 8 to 5 job, I don't have a fear of somebody ambush. You don't have the fear of somebody ambushing you. Right. You know, somebody, get in a shootout with a criminal. You don't have that. That is that true. Possibility. Like, the most dangerous thing you're gonna do is drive to work. You gotta hope there's nobody T-bones you in the intersection. But you're not worried about going home and responding to a school shooter or trying to pull somebody out of a burning building. You're not worried about that. So I think sometimes it's a little. While I totally agree, like that's the end goal, but being in law enforcement is gonna put you in more of a position to get injured, to get hurt, for those things to happen to you. You chasing criminals. You know what I mean? And I drive a car for 12 hours, and that's the most dangerous thing I do every day is drive a car. Most people go to work, they drive 30 minutes, at a max 30 minutes to commute to work. They park, they sit there, and they drive 30 minutes. They drive about an hour a day. I drive for 12 hours a day, bro, in a car. And that's one of the most dangerous things I do. Running code 3, which is lights and siren at a high rate.
Like a truck driver.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Just like a truck driver. That's
just like a truck driver.
Lay them out.
Yeah, driver.
Yeah, bro.
So I mean, I think it's important, but you got with fear. It's okay to be fearful, and fear is because that's a lot of a big misconception too in law enforcement, because you hear a lot of officers use that as somewhat as a scapegoat, and we think it's a scapegoat. Well, I fear for my life. Right. I mean, you hear that all the time. I fear for my life. Yeah. And has there been times in my career where I fear for my life? 100%, bro. Like, I'm scared, dog. And
you ain't got a reaction.
Because
ain't nothing wrong with that either.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
You are human. We are human. We are human.
Bro, and I've been in the thick of it, man. I've been on the SWAT team for 8 years. I've done the high speed, low drag. I've done all that stuff, bro. Like I'm currently on the SWAT team. I've hit houses and high risk, and been involved where we had to end up shooting somebody. So I've been there. Like, I'm in the trenches, bro. Like I'm who the police call when the police call the police. Like
we need call JR. We need Jay. We need backup. Hey, call the backup to the backup. Call JR.
Exactly. Like you know what I mean. I'm on a team where that's when the police call the police. Like I've been there, bro. But there's been times like, and even every time. When I'm going for a raid or we're going to do a mission and I'm putting on my heavy vest and I'm putting on my Kevlar helmet and my gas mask and my ear pro, I'm getting my gun out and I'm getting into that raid van to go on a mission, I got a gut feeling in my stomach, like, and I pray every time, like, God, please, make me and my teammates safe, make this apprehension be safe for the suspect. Please, Lord, don't let us have to use any type of force. Let it go as smooth as possible, because I want my guys to go home, but I want the person on the other side of that door to go home as well. You know what I mean? Like I can really have mixed emotions. You get into the good guy versus bad guy thing. Like even for the 2 young African-American males that shot me in November, like I don't have no ill will and malice towards them. Like I was upset because they tried to take me away from my family. But at the end of the day, like I'm glad they were apprehended. They're gonna have the day in court and they're gonna serve their time.
You don't want to take them away from their family.
You know what I mean? They got families too. You know what I mean? Like let the court system handle it. There's no need for me to go out here, and I'm thankful that happened. Those guys were taken into custody without incident. Nobody was harmed. Nobody was shot. They have the day in court, man. They decision they gotta live with it for the rest of their life. You know what I mean?
Hey man, God don't make no. Hey, like you say, man, God ain't playing with you out here, man. JR.
He ain't playing with you out here, bro.
He ain't playing about you, man. He ain't playing about you out here, man.
Yeah, man.
That's a blessing, bro.
Yeah, bro.
He made you stronger, man.
That hard to kill, bro.
Hey, that made you hard to kill, right there.
Yeah, bro.
It definitely made you hard to kill.
It did, man. And I think to be honest with y'all, man, I was having some feelings like a couple months prior to the incident happening of something like happening to me, bro. Like I just had a feeling life was going so good for me. We get into these groups where life's going good. I got promoted. I'm doing my thing. I'm feeling good. I'm like, it can't just
be good forever.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna be tested.
It's too good. Like, when you say it's too good to be true,
it's too good, bro. Like, and that's kind of, I hate to think like that, but I'm like, I'm like, life's going good right now. Like I'm financially stable. I'm able to.
It's still a bitch though. She gonna make you mad.
Something coming around the corner. Something coming around the corner.
And then when that happened, it was just like, that's a wake up call, bro. Like, and it and I was kind of low on my faith too. You know what I mean? With COVID-19, obviously churches have been closed. We can't go to church and worship. Everything is online, and you don't really get that connection because you're not in the church. You're not with the church, with the people. So you're not feeling that spirit.
Right.
So it's a little bit harder to stay dedicated. So it's easy to kind of slip back in those cracks and be in a backslidden state. And I was there. And I was there faithfully. I was kind of in a backsliding state where I still believed in God. I still prayed here or there. I read my Bible maybe here or there, but I wasn't really doing everything necessary. But the one prayer that I always pray for myself is I said, God, use me. And that's the one prayer, bro. You might pray to hit the lottery.
That God used me is big.
And see that's oh,
that God used me is big.
That's
God
dangerous too, bro. That's dangerous too, because you don't get to choose how he uses you.
On how he uses you. You don't get to choose. You asking him to use you.
You don't get to choose, bro.
So
that's deep,
bro. You super blessed, man.
Dang,
you know what I mean? Like and the thing about, and you gotta be, and the thing I will tell y'all and anybody listening, the thing you gotta be careful. You gotta be, like you said, you gotta be careful about that prayer.
Yeah.
Because if you're not ready to be used,
don't ask for it. Because when
for
God give it to you, you're not gonna be. If you're not ready, if you're not ready to be, okay. I'm gonna show you how to use you. But you might not be ready to be used.
Exactly. You might not be ready to be used. But see, here's the thing: God is never gonna, and the thing is, he's never gonna put us in a position to where
it's overbearing. Yeah.
Where it's overbearing for us. You know what I mean? Well, we can't. He's gonna always test you. I believe in that saying. I say it all the time. God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers, bro. Like 100%,
bro. He do, bro.
100%, bro. So he never gonna put me in a situation whether I lost a loved one, whether I got cancer. He's never gonna put me. It's always gonna be a situation to where I can glorify his name. You know what I mean? And what bigger platform I have now that my car was shot 17 times, bro.
Bullet holes, like just to hear that 17 times.
17 times. There was bullet holes in my daughter's car seat. There was bullet holes in my headrest. I wasn't supposed to get out of that, bro.
Man,
and I was not at all. When I tell you we were side by side, bro. Yeah, we were side by side. The only way I get in that situation, the only reason I'm here today talking on Porch Talks is by the grace and the glory of God, bro. That's the only.
That's everything.
Keep doing that work.
And just by having you here, man, we blessed to even have you on here.
Yeah, we got.
We blessed to have.
We got one of the God's strongest soldiers on here.
One of God's strongest soldiers.
What are his strongest soldiers?
Yeah,
this empowering, bro.
This ain't Hercules. This J. Hercules.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the Bible. Look at this.
Straight up. Well, Samson.
He's Samson.
He's Samson from the Bible. But yeah, man, it's like, and the biggest thing about that too, though, and to piggyback off of that is once you ask God to use you, and He uses you, and He saves you, and He gets you out of a situation, He's paying attention to something very, very key. He wants to see if you're gonna get all the glory from it, or you're gonna give it right back to Him. Because He's gonna put that spotlight on you. He's gonna put the spotlight on you, dog. And you're gonna have to perform. You got to show. But when it's time to give it back to the source, you got to be willing to do that, bro. You know what I mean? That's super key. You know what I mean? There's a reason why I survived that situation, and I may know next week, I may know next year, I may know 10 years from now why I survived that moment. But God saved me for a reason. And my life, I got to spend searching for that reason to fulfill that destiny that He set for me. Because, bro,
like I said, you are here. He kept you here. He got you here for a reason.
Yeah.
He let you. Hey, He gave you life
some more black
for a reason.
That's what you do.
Yeah. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying, man. Like I'm doing everything necessary to do that and build upon that, man. Because I think right now, especially my agency, like we do have a lot of African American cops. A lot of them are educated. A lot of them are college driven. So it's really.
Get them in.
I'm actually training a young officer now, man. He's like 26 years old. Today was his second day on the job. So I'm very thankful when I get any young officer, but especially when I get either a young black female or young African American male who are just getting into the job, because I can really mold them, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I can really
show them what it's about.
Show them the way, build them up, like build their minds up.
I don't care how far in the suburbs you is. You know, black is your skin color, so you gonna do such as you supposed to do as a cop.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good, bro.
Hey, bro, like to piggyback on what you were saying, let me ask you this now. Being that you are the servant of the community and you went through that traumatic experience, how do you convince your old lady, like, all right, look, I still need to be this servant.
I still need to.
They still need to see this light.
Cause I know she's so fearful. She's so fearful, but she's still praying for you every day.
Oh, 100%. Oh, and that's something that, like, it was, that situation I went through was very traumatic for me, but it was something very, very traumatic for her because, you know, while my friends, I feel like, man, I could have lost a friend. While my coworkers are like, I could have lost a friend, a coworker. She like, I could have lost my husband. I could have lost the father of my kids. I could have
lost my best friend. I could have lost.
I could have lost my best friend.
My provider. My everything.
So it's one of those things I had to really like pray about and think about, like going back, you know, do we move from where we living at? You know, it's something I had to pray about, you know what I mean? Like, and it happened around the time where I was doing a lot of things in the community, you know, with Chris Keenan, doing a lot of things for, you know, Save Zone Fridays, out there in my uniform, grilling, bringing other cops around, other white cops and the black cops, and we're trying to bridge the gap. And I'm doing everything necessary. And I'm in the community every Friday, whether I'm working or I'm off, and I'm dedicating myself to be a servant of my community and to be that face and that liaison. And then that happens, you know what I mean? Right. And it's like, dang. And you naturally want to be like, take that situation. It's easy to take the situation, like, you know what, I ain't going to the community no more. Right. Black people, you know, they trying to take me, my own people trying to take me out, your own people. You know what I mean? Like, you had that type of attitude, and then you disconnect from that. So that it just made me stronger. It made me want to get back out there to prove to not only my wife, my kids, but either those other officers. When I came out to work, bro, you should see the amount of what, like, me coming back to work has done to other officers, man. It's changed their lives.
Everybody weak now.
Yeah, you a superhero, hey.
Hercules, bro.
Hey, we dealing with the Terminator. It's John Wick. We dealing with John Wick, the Terminator. Terminator back, goddamn.
Yeah, bro. Like they like, bro, and they're like, man, because when I told them I took 2 months off, it took me about 2 weeks to heal. I was actually doing push-ups the next day.
Wait. He the Terminator. After the car getting, bro, the Terminator don't even take that long to heal. But look, the car got sprayed 17 times. You got hit how many?
I got hit once in the back, and I got grazed on my tricep.
Okay, so it took you 2 months to heal from that. Come on, man.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. It took him 2 weeks to heal from that. Bro. And then he was back on his feet,
ready to go, bro.
And you know what? Let me give y'all a deeper, like how the God plans things for your life. You know what I mean?
God Almighty.
Because when I talked to the doctor after leaving the hospital and getting my X-rays, he said 100%, Corporal Sharp, your physical condition and your hypertrophy, which is your muscle building, your physique, 100% of a doubt saved your life. Because the bullet hit me right here. It hit me right here, bro, square on. But it traveled through and came out of my shoulder. It came out right here. So it hit me here, came out of my shoulder. It didn't hit a bone. It didn't hit a vein. It literally went straight through the muscle. And he said, your physique 100% had a major effect on the way that bullet traveled. Now, going back to that, I wasn't in this type of shape 2 years ago. Wow. So me thinking that I want to just do bodybuilding, I want to get myself together, I want to be rock hard solid, I want to be in shape, I want to give up alcohol, I want my body I want to take out these vitamins that let my body heal. I'm doing all that thinking I'm starting my business and I'm getting the bodybuilding. But God was really preparing me for that moment on November 14th when I was going to go through the incident. And that happened. That's something that happened 2 years ago. So when I tell people,
God working mysterious ways.
And he made that moment for you to keep going.
And he made it for that moment for me to keep going. So God is going to do everything necessary. That's why I say trust his plan. You might want it 2 weeks from now, but you're doing something. I started getting my body together in 2019 to be a bodybuilder. In 2020, only a year later, would I be in a situation where I was shot and my body was able to sustain it to where I was doing push-ups the next day. I was in the gym 2 weeks after being shot. And I was back to work on my feet, healthy, doing everything necessary. I'm back lifting heavy weight. And that happened 3 months ago. So what was God preparing me for 2 years ago?
Like,
I couldn't see that, bro.
He was building that armor.
It's so real that you saying that because, like, it's saying you believe in God, but does it take something to happen or something to, you know what I'm saying, for you to see, for you to actually, to strengthen that faith of like, do you really believe God?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good, bro. That's good. I mean, you really got, and I want to say, man, like, you know, people always, and I got to correct people because I had a lot of my friends be like, man, your training kicked in. I'm like, bro, that
you ain't got time.
Yeah, my training kicked in, but that's the grace of God, bro. Like,
17,
think about it,
bro.
Right.
My training may have had something to do with my survival, but what did God prepare me for and put me in a situation to put myself, maybe this happened when I was a young boy when I decided, hey, I wanted to be a cop. Now it's going to take me from high school all the way up, you know, so I'm 18-year-old male. I go through college. I have 2 kids. I'm 32 years old. So that's from the moment that I decided I want to be a cop.
Yeah.
To actually being a cop, to going through the training, to having all the experience. 32 years old, because I started being a cop at age 22. So we're like fresh out of college.
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
He's been working on me spiritually, you know, mentally, physically, to prepare me for that moment. Now that I've been involved in that moment, now I'm going to know how to, if that happens again, I'm going to be even more prepared. I want to be able to take that situation. I'm going to also, most importantly, and I'm sorry I'm preaching to y'all tonight, but
what's
most importantly is that people like you, people like y'all, and people who watch this video are going to hear this story, and they're going to be moved by the power of God. So I'm not going to receive the glory. They're going to see what I went through and be like, man, God is real. He's going to receive all of that, bro. And that's why I say, bro, these bands ain't about me, bro. These bands are not about me.
It ain't.
You know what I mean? And I got to give it back to the source, bro, because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for his protection, bro. Like,
and by speaking his name, or even referencing him, bro, it makes it hard. It make you hard to kill, bro.
Bro,
it make you hard to kill, bro. It make you hard to kill, bro.
It make you hard to kill, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean? Being faithful, being a faithful servant to God makes you hard to kill. Yeah. It makes you that way because it strengthens you. Again, it strengthens you spiritually, bro. In here, you know what I mean? That's where all our decisions and all our sin comes from, is rooted in our heart, bro. It ain't got nothing to do with the external. Our flesh don't always fail us, bro. But if you change what's in your heart, bro, you unstoppable, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm telling you, bro. When you people say you have no folks, but you let my people go. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let my people go, bro. Like, it's powerful, bro. And if anybody. If I'm able to save one person, and if I'm able to bring one more person close to God from what I went through, then my job is done.
It's done, bro. It's
well done, good servant, bro. If I'm able to bring one person to Christ,
well done.
You know what I mean?
Hey, you bring one, hey, they gonna come.
Exactly,
yeah, man. Bro, we appreciate you coming out.
We do, bro. Hey, definitely do, bro. We needed this.
Man. Sharing everything.
Yeah, definitely needed this. Check out. Hey,
it's good though, man. Like I always watch y'all stuff, man, because you know most people watch y'all stuff for like the comedy, but I'm loving the way that y'all transitioning to interviewing more people because it's opening up the doors for so much more, bro. Like
so many more, yeah.
And this is, and I hate to say it, bro, but this is God using y'all, bro.
It is, bro. It really is.
Y'all are doing something, bro. Y'all been clowns, bro. Y'all been clowns forever. You see what I'm saying?
Forever, bro.
Forever.
Weezy probably the biggest instigator I know. He's probably the biggest instigator I know, bro. 100%.
And they always say that too, bro. They always
he is, bro. He's the biggest instigator I know. But God has used y'all. He's used y'all ability to be people person through laughter and joy to reach people, and that's gonna open up doors for people to come on and talk about entrepreneurship skills, to talk about mental health, talk about Christ, to talk about everything, stocks and bonds and everything else.
Everything.
So y'all are being used, bro. Y'all are truly, I don't think y'all understand, and maybe you do, but y'all are truly a vessel for God and what you're doing. And I want y'all to really believe in that in the day and really focus on that. Don't think of this Porch Talk Boys. That's just a vessel, bro. Like, I mean, y'all are serving God's purpose by bringing people together, by making people in a time where we're in the middle of a pandemic, where people are stressed, they got mental health issues. True. There's been plenty of times where I'm having a bad day and I go to one of y'all videos on Instagram and y'all boys talking about a video and I'm just laughing, bro, because laughter is so good for the soul, bro.
And laughter is good for the soul, bro. That's what we do. And that's where, like I said, in the times that we are in, I think we've gotten lost with that, like I said, within the sorrow and within the, you know what I'm saying, the the sickness and the pain and the death and everything behind it. But laughter is gonna heal all of that.
Yeah, bro. And then like you saying, bro, like the more we hear this from our people, bro, because like
it makes us want to go.
It make the sacrifice that we give up worth it, bro.
It make us go even harder. It make
y'all have
the more and more we hear that, it's gonna make us hard to kill, bro.
You're right, exactly.
Exactly, bro. That's gonna make us hard to kill,
bro. Like I'm so proud of y'all, bro. Like for real, man. It's just. Yeah, it's amazing. You know, my mama talk about my mama watch more than I do.
Oh yeah, Mom Shark,
love y'all, boys, bro. Like she, every time y'all going live, she popping in there, bro. Like she love y'all boys, man. And so like, you know, it's key, man. And I think what y'all doing is so key for the people, man. Like y'all started this off, you know, right before homecoming. I remember y'all passing out the sweatshirts, the hoodies.
Yeah,
we didn't know. We didn't know
our first supporters.
You was.
You already know. Always.
I'm always still got the video of that, yo. We still got the video.
I'm always gonna support, bro. I need that. I need to get some more merch. To be honest, I need to get some more merch.
Hey, we gotta come out with something else.
We got you.
Say no more, bro. But like, we gotta be. This is an opportunity, man. For us to serve God's kingdom by doing this and bringing, you know, people together, but more importantly, our people who look like us together, right? Like that's the biggest thing. Like. That's what we got to strengthen our own before we go out here and try to save the world. We got to save ourselves, bro. And by y'all doing this, you're bringing on other African American people who are empowered. It's empowering y'all. Y'all are empowering me. And we all it's energy, bro.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Hey,
it's energy.
It's the energy, bro.
It's energy, bro. You see what I'm saying? That's the way the Holy Spirit works, bro. So like, y'all keep doing what y'all doing, man. Like it's. I'm so glad that y'all hit me up with the text and got me on the show. You know what I mean? I was like, bro, when Weezy texted me, I'm like, yo, I'm in that, bro. Like, it's
it was only right that we got a guy of your, you know what I'm saying,
aspect. You keep doing what
like,
you doing.
Bro. Like, we had to get you on here, bro. Like, we speaking with a live angel.
And then, like,
we speaking with a live angel,
bro. Like he's saying, bro, like, you might not realize it right now, bro, but for you being everything that you are, bro, you got more than 10 things that you are, bro.
More than 10 things.
You a legend out here, bro, for real.
You a legend.
I appreciate that, bro.
And
you a legend,
like
bro.
I said,
if don't nobody know one good person in law enforcement, if they know JR, they do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you can't make everybody like a JR, but JR is doing his part by being that.
He's doing his part.
And that's all I ask, man. Like, you got to trust the process that I'm doing my part. And as long as I continue to get that support from 100% people who look like me, bro, it empowers me to keep going, bro. You know what I mean? It empowers me to keep doing, to make that change, to be that positive change, to be that resource, bro. Because
that's what
that's what we don't understand as a people. But once we start fueling each other, bro,
unstoppable.
We unstoppable. We hard to kill.
Bro, listen to
we
this,
hard
bro.
to kill.
We hard to kill. Listen,
we hard to kill.
It's power in numbers. We got numbers with our color, man.
100%. 100%. Think about this, bro. And I just before y'all leave, I'm gonna leave y'all with this. There's no profession, there's no job, career, sport event that African American people don't go in to where we don't dominate it, to where we don't overrun it, to where we don't end up. There's no position.
Say that, Tiger.
Ever.
That's ever.
If an African American person,
that's why they don't want to let us in.
Exactly.
That's why we've been held back for so long, bro. Because they know the true power that we. And I know I'm going on my black skill, bro. But like, we're the only people.
It's Black History Month. Go on. It's Black History Month. Go on.
You gotta understand. We're the only people on the planet who can lay down and have a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white child.
The only people.
From the whole range. From the whitest of white to the blackest of black, bro.
To the blackest black. We're the only people. It's the dominant. We are the dominant gene, bro. We are the dominant gene. Which is why that goes back. Which is why you think these people didn't know that? They knew that when they came over to colonize, to steal people from Africa. We were kings and queens, bro. You see what I'm saying? We were living lavishly, bro, in Africa, alone. We were voyagers. We were, you know what I'm saying? They knew that. Right. And if these people understand what they have and they decide to discover and they decide to get out, they're gonna kill us all. They're gonna kill us all.
Right.
So we gotta stop that. And the thing is and what we have to realize, because it's Black History Month, I'm gonna tell y'all to empower y'all and to empower somebody else. physical slavery lasted for 400 years, but the goal was psychological slavery. That was the goal.
Right.
They knew that at some point,
they
knew that at some point we would evolve, we would become stronger, we would rebel, we would break out of chains, we would get our freedom. They knew that this would happen.
They knew it.
So they spent 400 years trying to. They put us 400 years in physical bondage to grow that psychological bondage, which is why you see so many Black people nowadays out here being involved in crime, not going to school, not being educated, having kids at a young age, being poor, not understanding how to read and write. It still affects us, bro. We want to have that. You don't want to have that victim mentality where like your skin stops you from doing whatever you want to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't have that type of.
I think that's what they done instilled into us. Like, your skin color is stopping you from whatever it is that you want to do or be.
And we believe that, bro. You've seen the studies before where I've seen that study where they bring the kids in and they ask the little Black girl, like, they have two dolls. They have a white doll and a black doll. They're like, which one is the good doll? And she's always picking the white little baby with blonde hair. She always does it because we've instilled in ourselves that white people are dominant. They're nicer. They're sweeter. They're rich. They're more privileged, and we automatically associate ourselves to be negative.
Right. And see, like nowadays, bro, like you can really see the tide turning too in numbers.
You can see the tide turning.
You know what I'm saying? You can see that Black unity coming together and that knowledge of self coming out. But
honestly, if we knew back in the day, if our people knew who we were, we wouldn't even had to deal with that. Like Mansa Musa was one.
I mean, that's like JR saying.
Mansa Musa was one of the wealthiest, richest black men in this world ever.
That's like
I'm talking about not Jeff Bezos, none of them. Ain't never had as much money as Mansa Musa.
See, like that's what JR was saying, bro. Like once they knew that the real trick was gonna be able to psychologically enslave them for thousands of years or hundreds of years after the fact. That's the biggest thing that they could do, bro. So
and you to hit it off with a quote, and I've done some research on it. A lot of people said it was never really said, but even if it wasn't said, it's still true today. The quote by Harriet Tubman that she freed thousands of slaves, and she could have freed 1,000 more only if they knew that they were slaves, bro.
Yeah.
Now it's been said that she never said that, but that doesn't take away from the concept. If they knew that they were slaves, I could have said that they knew it. That still applies today. When I ride around and I stop a young Black man, I'm like, look, young bro, I know you smoke a little bit of bud, but you're putting yourself in a position to be on the other side.
To be a real slave nowadays.
To be a real slave.
That's a real slave.
They expect you to go out here and do that. They expect you to be criminals. They expect you to be angry. They expect you to be upset. They expect you to be poor. They expect you to be disgruntled. They expect that. Because as long as you're angry, as long as you're disgruntled, you're angry with America, you're mad at white people, you're mad at Black people, you will never spend the time to invest in yourself. You know what I mean? And happiness, y'all. And I'm gonna leave because I can talk to y'all boys all night.
Hey, man, like I said, we already know.
Happiness, bro. Happiness and joy. Happiness and joy. This is very, very key to our spiritual health, our mental health. Nobody can take away your joy. Nobody. No. You have to freely give that up. You have to freely give that up. If you go to work and your boss is making you upset, and you're getting upset, it's because you allowed him to get you upset. You give your joy away, bro. You give it away. So don't give your joy away. Don't give that energy away, bro. Like I tell my wife all the time, if me and her get into an argument, I'm like, look, baby, I don't want to argue with you. I love you. I don't want to argue with you because that's negative energy. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be at odds with anybody, bro, because love cures all.
Conquers all.
Love conquers all.
Love conquers all, bro.
That's
you know what I mean?
So,
100%,
bro.
If I say I love you, man, damn, just like, hey, let that conquer anything that we going through right now.
We're going into it. And don't be to piggyback off of that. Don't be afraid to tell people you love them, bro. Like,
hey, we love you, JR.
We love you, JR.
I love y'all boys too.
Hey, that's another thing. Black men shouldn't be afraid to tell another Black man that they love them because ain't nothing wrong with that. We need to be telling each other we love them because if we don't, as much as possible, bro. We getting out of here. They shooting us down. We taking ourselves out. They taking us out. Bro, the more and more and the less and less that's here, we're gonna be like, man, damn, I should have told him I loved him when I did.
When he was here.
Now you tell him you love him when he 6 feet under and can't hear you, can't show you the love back.
Give them the roses while they're alive. Let them smell the roses while they're alive, bro. You see what I'm saying?
We're gonna give you yours too. Keep doing what you doing.
Your flowers is here, bro.
Hey, whenever you want to play,
I appreciate y'all boys, man. It's been a blessing for y'all having me on, man. I'm looking forward to the episode airing, checking it out on YouTube, sharing it. Hopefully it inspires somebody else to get on and y'all talk, man. If there's anything that I can ever do for y'all,
I want a band and some food. I
got you, bro.
Hey, look, bro, look. Let the people know where they can find you at, man.
So if you wanna hit me up, if you wanna follow my Instagram is FitCop at fit_cop. On Instagram, my business page is at 6-Pack Fuel, one word. It's my business page. I do a lot of clients, a lot of stuff about mental health, a lot of stuff about nutrition, just about being a healthy being. But y'all can follow me there, man. It's a growing thing. I'm trying to get back to the community. I'm just trying to be a pillar. I'm trying to leave a legacy, bro. So like I said, man, thank y'all fellas for having me on. It's been a true blessing to have me here. I feel empowered by getting these words out. So thank y'all for giving me the opportunity just to bless people with the good word, man, and just leave my legacy, bro. I appreciate y'all so much.
It was empowering and a blessing to hear you speak, bro. Just to hear you
in the presence, bro.
Yeah, just to be here.
Next is Leroy Jenkins.
That's Leroy.
That's Leroy.
That's
Leroy. Man, must continue into anything and everything that you are doing, bro.
Yes,
we will continue to follow and like I said, be hard to kill every day that we are above ground, bro.
Straight up, bro.
Hey, tell my dudes we said what's up too, bro.
We love you.
I'm definitely gonna do that, bro. You're gonna be the first person I send this video to when it come out, man. So thank y'all boys so much.
You won't fat back your collard greens from
and Mama cook now. Mama be cooking now,
bro. She cooked now.
I know. I told her.
Hey, matter of fact, I'm gonna promise y'all this. The next time y'all come to the Bull,
okay,
I get Mom Dukes to hook it up for you, bro.
All right,
say less.
I get y'all hook it up for you.
We there. We there.
Hey, we appreciate you, man.
Hey, man,
you take it easy.
All right, boys.
Y'all
be good, man.
bro.
Peace.